Hey everyone, welcome back to Literature with Sasha. If you are passionate about diving deep into the world of English literature and academic writing, you are in the right place. Today, we are exploring one of the most important steps in your dissertation journey, writing up your findings. We will break down how to interpret and present your research in such a way that clear, insightful, and impactful. So grab your notebook and let's get started. Introduction. When you are absorbed in writing your dissertation in English literature, one of the most crucial stages is writing up your findings. But what does this even mean? Essentially, this phase is about presenting the result of your research and interpreting them in a way that align with your original questions or hypotheses. Understanding how to effectively communicate your findings is the key to create a successful dissertation. In English literature, interpreting and writing up findings involves not only presenting the data but also making sense of it in the context of literary analysis. It's about talking all your hard work and turning it into something meaningful that will support your agreement or thesis. Now let's discuss what is dissertation in English literature, definition and significance. A dissertation in English literature is an extended research paper that presents an original agreement about a specific aspects of literature study. Unlike essay or shorter paper, a dissertation requires in-depth research, critical analysis, and the presentation of findings in a structured and scholarly way. This kind of academic writing gives beyond just summarizing what other scholars have said. It's about contributing new insights to the field, whether you are analyzing specific author, genre, literary movement, or themes. Your dissertation should offer a fresh perspective backed by strong evidence and analysis. How it differs from other disciplines. While dissertation in other fields may focus heavily on empirical data, English literature dissertation revolves around textual analysis, theory, and context. You are working with literary texts, whether novels, poems, plays, or essays, and applying critical methods such as formalism, psychoanalysis, postcolonialism, feminism, etc. To interpret these work, writing up findings in this discipline is not about numerical result, but about uncovering deeper meanings, patterns, and connection in the literature. The process of writing up findings, overview of the methodology section. Before you dive into presenting your findings, it is essential to establish how you arrived at them. This is where the methodology section comes in. In English literature, your methodology could range from close reading techniques to historical contextual analysis or even comparative approaches. In this section, you will outline the method you use to analyze the text and gather data. Whether you are reading a set of novels or recurring motifs, where you examine theories to support your argument, this is your opportunity to explain your research process clearly. How to present a data and result. Unlike research in science, where data might involve number and experimental results, English literature dissertation often deal with textual evidence. The data could be collected of quotes, passages, or thematic elements found across several works. When presenting these findings, make sure to break down each result in a clear and accessible way for the reader. For example, instead of just listening the quotes you gather, you should explain their significance and how they relate to the argument you are making. It is not enough to just present, you must engage with the text and draw connections. Structure your finding. There are no one size fit all approaches to structuring your findings, but some journal guidelines can help. You might describe to break your finding. Structuring your findings. There is no one size fits all approach to structuring your findings, but some journal guidelines can help. You might decide to break your findings into sections that correspond with the themes or motifs you analyzed in the literature. Alternatively, you could grow them according to the literary work you examined or the theoretical framework you applied. Whether the structure you choose, make sure it supports your analysis and follows a logical progression. Analyzing your findings. In English literature, the interpretation of your finding requires you to go beyond surface level observation. It's about developing deep into the text to understand how different elements like symbols, language, character development, etc. work together to create meaning. For instance, if you are analyzing the use of light and dark imagery in the novel, you would need to explore how these elements reflect the novel's themes, such as good and evil or innocence versus experience. The key is not just to note the pattern but also to interpret them in light of your research question. How to draw connection from your data. Drawing connection is where your critical thinking skills comes into play. You need to show how the individual piece of data, for example, quotations, literary devices, thematic elements connect to one another and to overall arguments of your dissertation. For example, if your dissertation examines feminist themes in Victorian literature, you might connect certain representation of women in text of to broader societal views of gender at the time. These connections provides a deeper understanding of the literary works and help strengthen your agreement. Discussing implication of findings. Once you have analyzed your finding, it's time to discuss their implication. What do these results say about the literary work you studied? How do they contribute to the broader field of English literature? This is also a chance to demonstrate how your findings can influence the way we understand literature or its historical context. For instance, you might argue that your findings shed new light on a particular literary movement or challenge existing critical interpretations. Incorporating literary theories into your dissertation. Number one, relevance of literary theory in English literature. Incorporate literary theory into your findings is essential in English literature dissertation. Theoretical framework provides lens through which you interpret the text. Number two, applying theory to your findings. When writing up your findings, be sure to directly connect your interpretations to the literary theories you are working with. For example, if you are using Marxist theory, you are might analyze how a text reflects class struggle or economic power dynamics. Presenting your findings clearly. Number one, use clear, precise language. A clear and concise writing language style is dominant when presenting your dissertation findings. Your goal is to communicate your ideas effectively without unnecessary complexities. Number two, the importance of coherent structure. Structure is your best friend when presenting findings. A well organized dissertation will make your argument easier to follow. Use headings, subheadings, and transition between sections to guide the readers through your analysis. This will help prevent your findings from feeling disjointed and ensures your argument built logically. Number 3. Visual aid, tables, charts, and graphs in literature. While English literature dissertation typically don't use the same kind of data visualization as scientific field use, visual aids can still be useful. For instance, you might include a table comparing how certain themes appears in different works or a chart illustrating the prevalence of specific motifs across multiple texts. These tools help clarify complex ideas and make your findings more digestible. Discuss your findings. Understand the decision section. The decision section is where you tie everything together. It is where you take your findings and show how they answer your research question. In this part of your dissertation, you should explain how your result align with or challenge existing scholarship in the field. Number 2. Relating findings to existing literature. Make sure to connect your findings to the broad academic conversation. How do results align with or differ from previous studies? This demonstrates that you have done your research or contributed to the ongoing scholarly discussions. Number 3. Constructing argument based on your result. Your findings should form the foundation of your argument. In your decision, use them to support your claims or present a clear, well reasoned argument that addresses your research question. This is the core of your dissertation, where your critical thinking and analysis truly shine. Ensuring alignment with research objectives throughout your dissertation. Always keep your research question in focus. Every finding should be directly linked to answer or explain or expanded upon that question. If something does not directly contribute to your objective, it might be worth reconsidering its inclusion. At the end of your dissertation, you should be able to confidently say how your finding answers your research question. This provides closure to your study and demonstrate that your research has yielded valuable insight. Conclusion. Writing up your findings in an English literature dissertation is the process that combines careful analysis, theoretical application, and clear communication. By organizing your results effectively, interpreting them through thoughtfully, and connecting them to existing scholarship, you create a well rounded and convincing argument. At the end of the day, your dissertation is more than just a summary of what you have found. It's about presenting a coherent, nuanced interpretation of literature that contributing something new to the field. That's all for today's discussion on writing up findings in English literature. I hope you found some valuable tips to help you through your dissertation process. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Literature with Sasha for more insightful into the world of literature and academic writing. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep exploring.